And in some ways, I think whatever we have read, especially the chapter of mindfulness, I think is also applicable in the retreat. So it's nice to apply what we have read to our own practice. Finally, after 2 months or so, we enter into the last, not the last chapter. Last chapter is wisdom, but the last component of the Noble Eightfold Path, which is right concentration, Sama Samadhi. The eighth factor of the path is right concentration. In Pali, Sama Samadhi. Concentration represents an intensification of a mental factor present in every state of consciousness. This factor, one-pointedness of mind, Chit Ekagata, has the function of unifying the other mental factors in the task of cognition. It is the factor responsible for the individuating aspect of consciousness, ensuring that every citta or act of mind remains centered on its object. At any given moment, the mind must be cognizant of something, a sight, a sound, smell, taste, touch, or a mental object. The factor of one-pointedness unifies the mind and its other concomitants in the task of cognizing the object, while it simultaneously exercises the function of centering all the constituents of the cognitive act on the object. One-pointedness of mind explains the fact that in any act of consciousness, there is a central point of focus towards which the entire objective datum points from its outer peripheries to its inner nucleus. It can be a little bit cryptic, this paragraph. A lot of big words. Let's try to understand. Firstly, concentration represents an intensification of a mental factor present in every state of consciousness. Whatever mental factor that we are aware, we intensify it. This factor, one-pointedness of the mind, the function is to unify the other mental factors in task of cognition. It is the factor responsible for the individuating. Okay, let's take a look at individuating. Distinguish from others of the same kind, single out. In Wikipedia, the principle of individuation or principium individuation is such a big words. Describe the manner in which a thing is identified as distinguished from other things. Yeah. So we have to be reminded again that Bhikkhu Bodhi was a philosopher. he has a PhD in philosophy. That's why he knows all of these words. Philosophical deep words, individuating. Is the factor responsible for singling out, for differentiating aspect of consciousness, ensuring that every citta, every act of mind remains centered on its object. At any given moment, let's say currently, the mind must be cognizant of something. Let's define cognizant here. not the company. Cognizant means be aware, having knowledge or awareness, conscious. At any given moment, the mind must be conscious, aware of something, a sight. For example, whatever we are looking at, your current screen, the sight, and a sound, whatever I'm saying, you are currently listening to. A smell, I think most of us probably doesn't smell anything funky right now, unless your neighbor is smoking or your neighbor is roasting chicken. Yeah? Actually, in my retreat as well, at some point, my housemates was cooking while I was meditating. Then I was like, oh, smells so good. Then I was like, oh no, I shouldn't be too caught up in the smell. Yeah, but it's much more difficult to concentrate when there's such a nice smell. A taste. Yeah, right now we are probably not tasting anything, so even though it's neutral, but the taste is there. You should be aware that it's a neutral taste on your mouth right now. A touch, whatever you're touching right now, could be your chair, could be the floor you're sitting in. Yeah? A touch, a contact with your body. Or the last one, a mental object. Whatever you have on your mind. The factor of one-pointedness, yeah, we go back to this factor again, one-pointedness, unifies the mind and its other concomitants, yeah, components. Let's define again concomitants. A phenomenon that naturally accompanies or follows something. Unifies the mind and its other phenomenon that follows the mind in the task of cognizing the object. While it simultaneously exercises the function of centering all the constituents of the cognitive act on the object. Okay, let's define constituents. Okay, not the first definition. A component, part of something. Okay, let's take a look again. The factor of one-pointedness unifies the mind and its other concomitants in the task of cognizing the object, while the second function simultaneously exercises the function of centering all the constituents of the cognitive act on the object. Yeah. What is the object? We will cover in the paragraphs to come. You know, what can be the object of the meditation. The last sentence, one-pointedness of mind, explains the fact that in any act of consciousness, there is a central point of focus towards which the entire objective datum points from its outer peripheries to its inner nucleus. Let's define peripheries. Periphery. Yeah. The outer limits or edge of an area or object. It's like the shell, you know, whatever you can see from the outside, and all the way to its inner nucleus. Yeah. Nucleus is like, okay, let's define. Nucleus. In this sense, the central and most important part of an object, movement, or group, forming the basis for its activity and growth. Yeah, core or center. So if you imagine probably an egg, you can start to see from the shell, and then inside there is the white part, and then there is also the yolk. So all the way from the outer peripheries, the shell, all the way to the yolk. the egg yolk. Just one analogy, and trying to understand this sentence. Yeah, it's not an easy paragraph to understand, but maybe we should read and read again, and then see if we have any questions. Okay, I'll stop here for now. Anything you guys would like to add on? Yeah, maybe you can read again this paragraph, and tomorrow, if you have anything to clarify, we can bring it up. If not, let's do a dedication for now. 愿消三障诸烦恼，愿得智慧真明了。普愿罪障悉消除，世世常行菩萨道。阿弥陀佛。Till we meet again, may we be guided by the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Have a concentrated day ahead. Thanks everyone for participating. I'll see you guys next time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.